in the media conference with Lal Goyal, which is brought to you by V4 News, Global TV, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV, News Gaon Se, Samvad Sarokar News, Organ Donation India Foundation and Gyan. Our endeavor is to enlighten you with the current topic. And today's topic is role of youth in communal harmony. But before I will go to the topic, I would like to inform you that today we are observing our second Prime Minister, Shri Lal Bahadur Shastri's death anniversary. January 11 marks the death anniversary of Shri Lal Bahadur Shastri. He was born on 2nd October 1904. He was an Indian politician who served as the second Prime Minister of India. He promoted the White Revolution, a national campaign to increase the production and supply of milk by supporting the Amul Milk Cooperative of Anand, Gujarat, and creating the National Dairy Development Board. Underlining the need to boost India's food production, Shastri ji also promoted the Green Revolution in India in 1965. This led to an increase in food grain production, especially in Punjab, Haryana, and Uttar Pradesh. He led the country during the Indo-Pakistan War of 1965. His slogan, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, hail to the soldier, hail to the farmer, became very popular during the war. The war formally ended with the Tashkent Agreement on 10th January 1966. He died on 11th January 1966 in Tashkent. He was posthumously awarded the Bharat Ratna. We are also celebrating the National Road Safety Day today. 32nd National Road Safety Week is celebrated from 11th January to 17th January every year in our country, India, to create awareness about road safety and minimize road accidents and save life. At first, in the year 1989, awareness for the National Road Safety Week was celebrated. At that time, about 36,000 had lost their lives. India is in the first position, comprising the highest accident deaths in the world. Approximately 4,67,000 accidents were happening per year in India, and approximately 1,50,000 per year are dying of it. The National Road Safety Week 2021 theme is Save Yourself to Save Your Family. Now coming on the topic, today's topic, that is role of youth in communal harmony. All the great religions of the world inculcate equality and break brotherhood of mankind and the virtue of toleration, said Mahatma Gandhi. India is a country of multi-ethnic culture. People belongs to different religious, racial, cultural, and lingual identities live together harmoniously. However, in the present time, various untoward incidents are affecting the communal harmony in different parts of the country. Communalism is the most serious threat to our sovereign, secular, socialist, and democratic polity. The number of communal incidents is increasing day by day, which is not a good sign for our democracy. India is known for communal harmony, which has to be maintained. Communal harmony is the hallmark of democracy in a country governed by the rule of law. Rule of law pervades over the entire field of administration, and every organ of the state is regulated and governed by the rule of law. It is an eternal value of constitutionalism and inherent attribute of democracy, and good governance has to be maintained. Communal harmony in India is a concept that indicates that there is love, affection in between different religions in India. The Indian Constitution supports and encourages religious harmony. In India, every citizen has a right to choose and practice any religion. There are examples of Muslims and Sikhs building temples. In India, different religious traditions live harmoniously. Seeds of religions call for religious harmony in India. According to Dalai Lama, India is a model for religious harmony. He mentions that in the last 2,000 to 3,000 years, Different religious traditions such as Jainism, Islam, Sikhism, and others have flourished here. Secularism is one of the many imbibed ideologies in the Indian Constitution. The word secularism is in the preamble as well. India does not advocate state-sponsored religion, nor does it have a national religion of any sort. India is home to citizens who have different religious affiliations. The principle of secularism allows them to practice and preach their religion. However, communal rights in India occur due to differences between religious communities. These turn incredibly violent and gruesome. Communal harmony is a pursuit for a country like India with its diverse population and cultures. Communal harmony ensures that every religion gets equal treatment and tolerance builds amongst citizens. Youth plays very important role in keeping communal harmony. The young natives of our country can promote and develop communal harmony. In schools, colleges, institutes, etc., there are various students of different communities. All of them are treated equally. The youth in India is both a catalyzing and galvanizing factor in promoting harmony between different religions. In this, which will bring about change long-term in both attitudes and laws. The youth of today are the leaders of tomorrow, and any change fostered in the large-scale psyche of a nation is largely led by its youth. And to discuss today's topic, the role of youth in communal harmony, we have a very, very learned chief guest with us. I welcome our chief guest. He is Dr. Sandeep Shastri. Dr. Sandeep Shastri is the Vice Chancellor of the Jagran Lake City University, Bhopal. Dr. Shastri prefers to describe himself as a teacher by instinct, researcher by choice, trainer by passion, and above all, a lifelong learner. Dr. Shastri's research has been in the field of election studies, federalism, political institutions and processes, Karnataka politics, and the teaching learning processes. He has authored 13 books, over 50 chapters in edited books, and over 95 articles in referred research journals, beside more than 300 op-ed page articles in leading international and national newspapers. Dr. Shastri is also a political commentator who appears frequently on television. He is the national coordinator of the Lok Niti, on All India network of social scientists involved in survey-based election and opinion studies. He is a consultant to prestigious international bodies like the United Nations, World Bank, and the Forum of Federations. He was an advisor on political party reforms in the Pacific Rim states to the UNDP, advisor on governance reforms in Nepal for the World Bank, and an advisor on constitutional reforms and transition to democracy in Myanmar and South Sudan for the Forum of Federations. Dr. Shastri played a key role in drafting the Karnataka State Youth Policy by serving as the chairman of the drafting committee of the said policy. Dr. Shastri has lectured extensively across the world and spoken at universities in more than 50 countries in all the 6 inhabited continents. He was chosen to participate in the International Visitors Program of the US government in 1995 and was a fellow of the Salzburg Seminar on Federalism in 1993. He has also been Ford Foundation Fellow and Indo-Canadian Fellow. Dr. Shastri has been an adjunct professor at University of California, Berkeley, and taught there in the summer terms. Welcome, Dr. Sandeep Shastri, on our show. First of all, Dr. Shastri, I would like to congratulate you for your appointment as the Vice Chancellor of Jagran Lake City, Bhopal, University, Bhopal. Dr. Shastri, you are such a learned and experienced person in the field of education and politics. And you have seen our country's ups and downs. You have seen how the country with diverse religion, diverse culture, diverse languages, caste and creed, is still the India is one of the best example in the world as far as the communal harmony is concerned. But we would like to know from you the role of youth in communal harmony. Dr. Sandeep Shastri, please.
Thank you, Lal Goyalji, for that very, very warm and affectionate welcome. I deem it an honor to share this stage with 6 representatives of youth in India. And it's a very happy augury that of the 6 who have joined us on this platform, 5 are women and only 1 is a man. And I think the time has come in India for dialogues to have men in a hopeless minority, which is, I think, perfectly all right. Because I think the way forward for this country and this society is being provided by women. And I'm delighted that this platform also has young women in the forefront. So, Kashif, you have to speak for a huge section of population, and I depend on you to represent the young men and their voice. This is a delightful theme that we have to discuss. And I think context is very important. Tomorrow, as you all know, is the National Youth Day. The country has been celebrating Swami Vivekananda's birthday as the National Youth Day. And we are discussing youth in the contemporary world in India in terms of communal harmony a day prior to the National Youth Day. And I think that's a wonderful augury. Lal Goyalji also mentioned the importance of today in 2 other contexts, that it is a road safety week. And I would expand that term. I think the safety of the road of the future depends on youth like you. So for me, road safety is looked at from another angle, not just the physical road of transportation. I'm looking at the road of life. I'm looking at the road of India tomorrow. And the safety of that road of India tomorrow is laid by young people. And therefore, I would look at Road Safety Week from that angle also. And finally, Lal Goyalji said today is the death anniversary of the 2nd Prime Minister of India, Lal Bahadur Shastri. Incidentally, he is the Prime Minister about whom I wrote a biography, which was released last year. And today, 55 years after Lal Bahadur Shastri's death, I remember what I wrote in the biography. Just for the benefit of young people, Lal Bahadur Shastri became Prime Minister after serving at several levels. He was Home Minister of Uttar Pradesh after independence. He was Home Minister of India and then went on to become the Prime Minister of India. And as Home Minister, which is an important portfolio for maintaining communal harmony, I would like to bring to this audience attention that one of the biggest crises of 1960 was what was called the Hazratbal crisis. The Hazratbal shrine is believed to have a hair of the Prophet which is kept there. And that went missing in the 1960s. And Prime Minister Nehru deputed Lal Bahadur Shastri as Home Minister to solve that problem. And Lal Bahadur Shastri used his skills to be able to bring all communities together and resolve the crisis without any violence, without any bloodshed, and with total cooperation and coordination. So I would encourage the youth of today to look at Lal Bahadur Shastri's life, because I think in some senses, it represents a life of bringing people together, of dialoguing with people, of negotiating conflict and bringing a solution to problems. Friends, I would like to approach the theme today of youth and communal harmony and would look more to what my young 6 friends would say, but possibly as a platform for what the 6 of them will say. What I would say is based upon 3 things. Number 1, I have been privileged to be a teacher for the last 38 years. And in the last 38 years, more than 20,000 young people, like the 6 young people here, similarly, 20,000 young people have allowed me to learn with them in their classroom. I have been privileged to learn with 20,000 people in the last 38 years. I don't think I have taught anybody, but I have learned from all these students who have been with me in my classroom. And I look to all six of you also to educate me on the theme that we are all going to talk about. So that's my first basis for being here. What my 20,000 students have taught me, I'd like to share with all of you. Point number two. I was privileged to be part of the group which did in India the first ever scientific survey based study of attitudes, aspirations of youth in India. We did this in the 1990s and then have done it thrice subsequently, interviewing young people. And in India, we have defined young people as those between 16 and 34 years of age. That is the official definition of youth. We have interviewed youth and tried to understand through youth the aspirations of youth. And I will talk about the subject based upon what young people told us in those studies. Third and last, as Goyalji mentioned, between 2008 and 2013, I was truly privileged to be asked by the government of Karnataka to write the youth policy for Karnataka. And I said, why do you ask me? By no stretch of definition am I a youth. So what we did was, we again did a survey of youth in Karnataka, found out what young people felt, and put that in the youth policy. So I'm going to use these as the basis for what I'm going to talk about today. To start with, the first point which I'd like to make is, and this may be a slight departure from what Lal Goyalji said, and I hope everybody would not mind it. And I think in a dialogue, there will always be a little difference of opinion. I'm one of those who strongly believes that communal harmony and communalism being the challenge of achieving communal harmony. I have always believed that communal harmony, and correct me if I'm wrong, has nothing to do with religion or spirituality. This is my first point. We should not confuse use of religion with communal disharmony. We should not confuse use of religion with communal harmony. I think religion in its place, spirituality in its place, communal harmony and religious diversity in its place. When we are talking of communal harmony, we are not talking of religion per se. By per se, I mean by itself. We are talking of social relationships and political relationships. We are talking of how people relate to each other in society and how political parties and political leaders at times misuse religion to serve their political ends. I often believe that a truly religious person will never use religion to achieve certain partisan, selfish, personal political ends. Those who use religion in politics have not understood religion. Those who use religion in politics are abusing religion for their own selfish, vested, personal interests. And my next point, before I come straight to the question of youth, and this is a very debatable point, and I want the young generation to debate it. Should we say for communal harmony that religion is private and religion should not come to public? Religion is a private matter, it is not a public matter. Do we say that? Why I'm raising this question, friends, is for a simple reason. If you read Article 25 to 28 of the Indian Constitution, which talks about the right to religion, the Constitution says you have the right to preach, profess, practice, and propagate your religion. And look at all the four words, friends. Right to preach, right to propagate, right to profess, right to practice. Now, if I constitutionally enjoy the right to all these four things, can religion be something private? Or does our constitution itself recognize that there is a public role for religion? Why am I raising this, friends? we have to bring in communal harmony in a society where religion is not private. Religion has got a very, 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 very public role. We demonstrate our religious symbols. We celebrate religious festivals. We participate in religious processions. Now, when all this happens, how can religion be something private? So are we being very artificial when we say, no, keep religion limited to the four walls of the home, keep religion as something private? Because that's not what even our constitution intended it to be. Having said this, let me come to the 4 points I would like to make with regard to youth. And I think those 4 points help us understand the role of youth in communal harmony. I'm sure all the 6 young people here have heard of a very well-known Indian philosopher by the name of Chanakya, also called Kautilya. Chanakya or Kautilya wrote a very famous work called the Arthashastra, which is not about economics. Arthashastra is the science of living. It's a science about how to live your lives. And the Arthashastra was written by Chanakya for Chandragupta Maurya, who was a king, to guide the king on how he should run the kingdom. And I'm using just one point of Chanakya's Arthashastra to start this discussion. Arthashastra says, reflect on the past, review the present, and redesign the future. Think about it, friends. Reflect on the past, review the present, and redesign the future. And is that not what young people do? You are living in the present, which you are reviewing. You are reflecting on the past, and the future is yours. So you are, in a sense, redesigning that future. So friends, as we talk about youth and communal harmony, can we keep this advice of Chanakya in mind? And now let me come to my 4 points, 1 minute on each, and then I will stop. If you ask me what I think is the USP of youth, and I want my 6 friends to correct me if I'm wrong. If you look at the millennial generation and young people, I think the millennial generation and young people have 4 important virtues. Number 1, the millennial generation and the youth of India today are an aspirational generation. They are a generation full of aspirations. They are a generation full of hope. They are a generation full of ideas. They are a generation which is looking at the future and not looking at the past. They are looking at the road ahead. And when we are talking of communal harmony, we are looking at the road ahead. We are looking at a road ahead where the question all of us have to ask ourselves as youth is our most important identity, our identity as citizens of this great country, as citizens of India? And can we put a full stop there? And what do I mean by that? Our true, authentic, real identity is as citizens of India, and the rights and privileges all of us enjoy and the duties that we have is linked to that simple fact. Everything else comes later. Whether I'm a man or a woman, whether I live in North India or South India, whether I belong to X religion or Y religion, whether I do this type of job or that type of job is a second factor. My rights and privileges and duties in India are as a citizen of India, full stop. Now, if my youth are an aspirational youth, this is what is going to guide the destiny of the country in the future. And this, for me, is the pathway to communal harmony. That as citizens of India, we move forward. We don't move forward as Kannadigas or Maharashtrians or Bengalis or Punjabis, but we move forward as citizens of India. That identity is the most critical. We don't move forward as Hindus and Christians and Muslims and Jains and Parsis and Zoroastrians, but we move forward as citizens of India. My appeal to the youth is, as an aspirational generation, can that define, decide, and decode our way to the future? Point number 2. Not only is this an aspirational generation, this is also an idealistic generation. You are a generation full of ideals. You are a generation full of hopes. You are a generation which wants to build a better world, which wants to build a better India. Idealism that is present in my mind, that is present in my head, that is present in my heart, is what takes me forward. When I was a school student and when I was a college student, I had several friends, but I never asked myself whether that friend was a follower of X religion or Y religion or Z religion. They were friends. And they were friends because we shared a common aspiration. Because we had common goals. We ate in each other's homes. We respected each other's cultures. I had a Muslim friend who knew at that point of time that I was a vegetarian. I still am a vegetarian. And he made it a point that when I went to their house, that day, no meat was cooked. I had another friend who knew that I enjoyed eating eggs, though I was a vegetarian, and we did not make eggs at home. So he insisted when we went to his house that his mother prepared an egg curry for me for lunch. And his mother said, your friend asked for it because he knew what you don't get at your home. That fact of idealism, I have seen in many of my friends that idealism disappearing as they grow older. Now, can we retain that idealism? There was a joke one time that if you're not idealistic till you are 25, it means you don't have a heart. And if you continue to be idealistic after you are 25 and you are 50, you don't have a head. I don't agree with that. I think idealism is something that should be there in the hearts of all people for all times, because it's that idealism which allows you to reach out to others. So for me, the second point in youth and communal harmony is the role that idealism among the youth plays for where they want to go for the future. Point number 3. I think the youth of India today, the millennial generation of India today, is perfectly goal-oriented. They are very clear of where they want to go. They are very clear of the pathway they want to choose. They are very clear of the direction that they want to move. And that goal is not linked to divisiveness in society. That goal is not meant to creating small domestic walls among people. That goal is not meant to create we and they, but that goal is meant to create us. Youth do not speak in terms of we and they, we X and they Y. Youth talk in terms of us. And us is the fact that we do not break ourselves into walls of we and they. Now, that happens when my goal is clear. That happens when I want to live in a society of harmony and want to bring up my children in a society of harmony. When I want to bring up my children in a society of harmony, I will, as part of the socialization process of my children, allow that to happen. I remember till I was, I think maybe 7 years old, I never realized the differences between religions because my parents allowed me to go to every religious institution. I've had the privilege of praying in a church. I've had the privilege of sitting in meditation in a temple. I lived 7 years of my school life in Afghanistan. So I also saw how it was to pray in a mosque. Now, the socialization I went through, I'm very privileged and proud of that, that it allowed me to take in the best of all religions. I still remember as a young boy in Afghanistan, during the month of Rosa, the Indian community we were all part of, when we used to go on a picnic on a Friday during the month of Ramzan, when we went out on a picnic on Friday, we all decided we will not eat in public out of respect for sentiments of the local people. We, of course, the locals told us, go ahead, have your lunch, you don't need to follow this. But we respected the local sentiment. Now, when I say goal oriented, as the youth who lead families tomorrow, who bring into this world families tomorrow, can the socialization process that this youth has create that harmony that is there in society? In our youth study, we asked young people, in your close circle of friends, how many of them belong to a different religion and different caste? Many young people, when they were answering that question, they said, hey, we never thought of it from that angle. I never asked myself how many of my close friends belong to another caste or another religion. And I said, that's exactly the point. Our friendships are friendships, and those friendships are not defined and determined by caste or religion. And Lal Goyal ji, my last point, and I'll take half a minute to complete that last point. While I believe that the young people are aspirational, idealistic, and goal oriented, I thought a lot before using the last word, but I will use the last word. Youth are positive. And I don't mean positive in the corona sense. In the corona world, we all tell people don't be positive, be negative. I am talking of positive from a totally different perspective. I think my experience with the 20,000 young people who have been in my classroom has been their positive outlook, their positive approach. My students did not have problems for solutions. They had solutions for problems. When I created a problem or created a problem situation for them, they were the first to come up with solutions. For me, the USP of the youth is their positive attitude. And I think that communal harmony is a byproduct of this positive attitude, where we do not tolerate what is different from us, but we celebrate what is different from us. Friends, I'm making a distinction between toleration and celebration. We tolerate something because we don't have a choice. We tolerate someone because we don't have a choice. I'm not talking of toleration. I'm talking of celebration, where we value the difference that somebody else brings into our lives. We value the difference that somebody else brings in and understand that this difference is what makes our life much richer, much better, and much more comprehensive. So Lal Goyal ji, I will stop there. I don't know if I've exceeded my time, but I thought I would make these points before the young people who we have today with us. And I am now looking forward to listening to what they have to say on this very important thing. Thank you for giving me such a patient audience.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shastri. You have not enlightened only the youth. I think you have enlightened all the segment of the, I will say, even the senior citizens of the adults. Such a motivational, inspirational talk which you have given. I am sure today, whosoever is watching the program, been enlightened by you. I need not to summarize because you have explained in such an easy way. I am really envying why I have become so old. Otherwise, I would have joined the Jagran Lake City University now and be your student to learn the values of life.
Lalji, you are still very young at heart, I know.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shastri. But this is what today India wants. And today we want such type of leaders, such type of persons in India. And there are plenty. Only thing is we have to identify, we have to follow them. And the responsibility lies with the youth only, because if you follow the right path, then you will see everything very, very positive, what Dr. Shastri has explained. But if we will follow the wrong people or wrong principles, then we will see always a dark side. Dark side is always been seen, but we have to see the brighter side. After all, this country belongs to youth, irrespective of any culture, any religion. As Dr. Shastri initially said very correctly, that communal harmony has nothing to do with the religion. This is all motivated with bad intentions of few people. I will not blame any political party or whosoever, just to gain their own benefits. They want that we should not be in harmony. But we are fortunate in India. And as Dr. Shastri is starting very nicely said about the Shastriji today, yes, the way you can imagine, when he was only 16 years, when Mahatma Gandhi gave an appeal that why not join, and he immediately joined. So youth, that is what we require. And I'm sure persons like Dr. Sandeep Shastri, they are going to change this country, and they are changing the country. Only thing is we all must follow what the principles and what they are thinking. And they can, like he has mentioned about Chanakya and Kauchalya. And that is the thing. Till now, I want to be very frank. I was also having understanding that the Arthashastra means the economics. But today he has changed my perception. It was not, it's the art of living. I will definitely try to educate myself. As Dr. Shastri said, everyone has to educate himself or herself from others. So I am very lucky to that Dr. Shastri is our chief guest today. Thank you very much, Dr. Shastri, for giving such an enlightening and inspirational and motivational words. Are very small for me to describe today's your opening talk. Thank you very much. Now, I would like to invite my first guest, youth guest, if he is there, although he joined the last, Mr. Ananda Krishnan. Are you there? Are you there, Mr. Ananda Krishnan? No, you are not there. You have. So I will go to my next guest, youth guest, and she is Ananya Hegde. Miss Ananya Hegde, you have heard what our chief guest, Dr. Sandeep Shastri, has mentioned. Now, we would like to know from you the role of youth in communal harmony. Miss Ananya Hegde, please. First, you introduce yourself and then speak.
Okay, sir, am I audible and visible?
Yes, please.
Yeah, thank you so much. Very good morning, everyone. Very happy to see everybody who has lot of energy in their eyes. I can see that. So yeah, I am Ananya Hegde. I'm doing my second year HRD in Alvas College, Moodbidri. I'm from Mangalore, basically, Karnataka. Yes, again, a very happy Youth Day. So I feel, age is just a number. Be it 7 or 70, whatever you feed to your mind, that matters. So youth, anybody can be youthful for that matter, I feel. So coming to the part or coming to the main point, we have seen India becoming transforming, or we have seen the huge transformation in the whole world. Maybe we had the king's rule, we had invaders in our country, and now we have independence. So where the country has changed from one rule, and now we have the country where it is by the people, for the people, and of the people. So there was a huge transformation now. So we all have independence, and we have, as Shastri sir said, that we have a right to choose. We can choose anything under the sun. So nobody have the right to ask, why did you choose this, or why did you are pursuing this? Is it? So I feel, yeah, one point is this. And recently I was watching one of the video where the two school going boys, were discussing to each other, and one boy asks the another friend of him, which religion do you belong to? So he was the another one who got this question was a little stunned. So he just went back to his home and asked his mom, which religion do I belong to? So at that time, mom just replied, even she was stunned. She couldn't tell that which exact religion, because whatever you feed to your mind, that you become, is it? So she just said that you are an Indian. You just can't, belong to, you just can't go and tell in the public that you are a Christian or a Muslim or Hindu, whatever it is. So, what I wanted to tell is from the youth or from the childhood, whatever we feed to our mind, or maybe our youngsters, whatever we tell, or our own next generation, whatever we tell, they become that, the same. So I feel one such point, one strong point is whatever you feed to your mind is very much important, and that will be very effective as well. So yeah, one more thing is unity is diversity. We all know that India is, very strongly having this slogan of unity is in diversity, and we have a lot of more than 6 religions in our countries with multilingual, multicultural, multi-ethnic, lot of things. So yeah, I think this is the essence of our nation. So we as the youngsters or youth, we have to follow this definitely. So one more thing where I have to put some light on is, as Shasti sir said, how social are we? I hope I got this contest in the same or in the right manner. So we have a lot of the festivals in our country, maybe Christmas, maybe any Diwali, or be it anything. So my question is, how many of we are putting some effort to celebrate it together? If you're Hindu, only the Hindu religion, only inside the 4 walls, we are going to celebrate it, Diwali. But are we calling other religion friends? No, we are not doing that. Why can't we do that? So I think, the stereotype of the communal matters in India have been from long years. So all of a sudden we cannot change. We can do that. We can do this. No, we can't do that. So why can't we take some small steps like celebrating our festivals, become very social with all the community? So that is one point where I would like to suggest all my young youth friends. So the next thing is, again, understanding each other, maybe respect, show some love, show some concern to each other. We all just say, I know it becomes artificial. Again, Shastri sir said it looks some artificial, it looks as an artificial one, but why can't we bring it to reality? It becomes, I think, taking small steps, we can bring out the very big impact in our country. That's what I feel. For this, as we are students, I thought of putting this also, put some light on. Why can't we do some research? Maybe there are some researches which are going on already on why the communal problems are happening. Because day to day, as and when you switch off your TVs, you will be getting the communal problems. Or I just don't want to take any TV channels or any religious matters, but you all know what it is exactly. So why can't we just have some research, have some project works kind of on on religious things? So I think it will be useful as youth. So when we reach our 25 or when we reach our 30, so we can have some proper blueprint of what exactly we have to do. So this is about it. As also we have the constitution which is written, but why can't we? Why are we not bringing it to reality or executing it? We are not executing it. We have everything in our country, very beautifully written constitution. We have the human rights or whatever it is. I just again don't want to take any of the constitution particularly, but we have it defined, well defined. So why are we not bringing it to execution, or why are we not bringing it to reality? I think we can do it. I'd like to quote one thing, and let me put a full stop for my talk, where Allama Iqbal says, "तू शाहीन है, परवाज है काम तेरा, तेरे सामने आसमान और भी है." So which means you are an eagle, with a sole concern of flying high, a wide horizon that keeps on unfolding itself before you. So, don't you think we can do wonders, my dear friends, being youth, very youthful? As I said initially, age is just a number, be it 25, be it 65, be it 75. Whatever you feed to your mind is very much important.
Okay.
So, thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Ananya. Although you have made one point and you said that in India, we are not celebrating our festivals together. I think you are wrong. Dr. Shastri has already mentioned, and I can also say, in our generation, we always, and still, we always celebrate all the festivals together. We invite, whether it's in Diwali, we send the sweets, or the sweets comes from the Muslim or the Christians to us. And we also celebrate Christmas and Eid. Everything is celebrated. We still have the sevais kheer on the Eid. Although I am, as Dr. Shastri says, I am also pure vegetarian, but it doesn't mean that we cannot celebrate those festivals. So there lies the point with the youth. The youth has to decide why. You mentioned about the news channel. You have the control. Why you want to see those news channels? You want to see the WhatsApp messages or the social media. See only those which are positive. Be positive. If you be positive, you will see that life is very beautiful. The society is very good. We are 1.3 billion people. Out of, yes, few are there, exceptionals are there. Dr. Shastri has also mentioned, our chief guest has also mentioned. So that is fine, but we must see the positive side. And if the youth has to, that's why the role of youth is very important. If you start celebrating at your home, if you say that, no, I would like to invite my other community or religions friends, nobody will stop. And this will be a starting point. Thank you very much, Ms. Ananya, for giving your very good views. Now, I would like to move to the next guest, and he's Kashif Najir. You have heard our chief guest, Dr. Sandeep Shastri, and the earlier panelist also. Now, we would like to know from you the role of youth in communal harmony. First, introduce yourself, say, but please keep the time limit 5 minutes. Ananya has crossed, so
yeah, sure.
You should not cross.
Sure. First of all, am I audible?
Yes, please.
So my name is Kashif. I'm a level 4 BAP student studying in University of West London. And first of all, I actually would like to thank Mr. Mohanlal Agarwal, President of Indo-Gulf Marketing Association, to give me this wonderful opportunity to speak about this topic. And in my own opinion, that is about communal harmony. It's, it all depends on basically 3 principles. That's kindness, respect, and dignity. Basically communal harmony is different religions, different races, coexisting with each other without any problems. And in my opinion, I can say no one does it better than the younger generation. They actually have realized that, there's no barrier between one person or the other, such as he is Muslim or he is Hindu, why I shouldn't be friends with him. There's no such barrier like that. And in my opinion, we all treat pretty much everyone the same. We really don't care about your background. All to us, the young generation, it basically comes down towards your attitude towards each other, like how you show yourself to the other person. Are you kind towards him, or are you a bit rough towards him? It all depends on what you think or what the individual thinks about the other person. And when it comes to youth, I say that young generations are usually open-minded rather than being self or single-minded. They usually come up with multiple ideas to do something, or whenever if you give if you give them a task, rather than following what the older generation used to follow, or just keep on following the same pattern, they always try to bring out new ideas. They try to be innovative. And that's where I think communal harmony is going to be growing towards. That is, the younger generation is going to have a positive impact on communal harmony, mainly due to the fact of the younger generation being open-minded. They really don't care about the person being black, white, Hindu, Muslim. All they care is that if the person is, like I said, if he shows kindness, respect, and dignity, in my opinion, that's the perfect trio. You don't need to bring in race, religion into these things. And my speech might be a bit short, but I conclude this by saying that to the younger generation, me personally being from that, we really don't care about what your religion may be or what background you come from. As long as you exhibit these three main qualities, that is kindness, respect, and dignity, we will take you with open arms, regardless of your background. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kashif, for giving your views. Although you have tried to portray the older generation in a very bad light, or it's not like this. I will tell you one thing. Whatsoever, yes, the new generation, the youth are technology wise very advanced. But you have to understand today, if you are seeing all these big universities, colleges, IIMs, IITs, all infrastructure at that time, no internet, not even telephone, electricity hardly. And in spite of that, if they have created everything, so that's why they have sowed the seed and the fruits you are eating today. So yes, we understand the older generation understand the technology advancement and the knowledge what you are having. But you also give respect and regards to the older generation for giving you this opportunity today, bringing all those things which you are enjoying today. And as far as the communal harmony is concerned, I will only say one thing. Our past, if you see in India, we were very, very, we are persons of living in a very, very communal harmony. Even today we are living. Try to understand.
Just 30 seconds,
yes, please.
I think both Ananya and Kashif were not being critical of the past. I think they have great respect for the past. I think both Ananya and Kashif were talking about how new generation can take it forward. When Kashif said the current generation doesn't look at that, he did not mean the previous generation looks at that, but he was only trying to focus on what their generation does. Similarly, I think when Ananya said, why don't we celebrate all festivals? It's not that she did not know that it's not happening in the past. But I think what Ananya was trying to emphasize is that those numbers are dwindling, and therefore we need to rebuild those numbers. So I would just add that Ananya and Kashif both had great positive attitude, and they both understood that they are building on what they are talking about from what the past has done. I'm sorry for that.
No. Thank you, Dr. Shastri. But my only point is the role of youth is very, very important for any, because now I'm doing every week, twice this program on different topics. And I found the common thing of the youth is they feel, I don't know, I might be wrong, like Dr. Shastri has said, they feel that today what we have the knowledge, and it's not your fault, it's the generation. When I was youth, I also found faults in my parenting, in my my parents, what you have done for us. We are more advanced. Today, I realized what they have done for us, we are doing nothing. Similarly, this is a generation gap which will last, but the role of youth today is, because you are technology very much advanced, you can have accessibility to all over the world, which we were not having. We were having very limited, we were having only the teachers in our colleges or few people whom we can talk. We were not even having the accessibility to the other cities. Today on internet or Google or anything, you can talk anybody, anywhere in the world. So the knowledge you are having today is remarkable. Try to channelize that knowledge in the positive direction, bring everything one, and that is where the role of youth is very important. Thank you very much, Mr. Kashif, and thank you very much, Dr. Shastri, for correcting me. No problem. That's what I said, and that one has to learn. And today it's a learning, every day is a learning session for all of us. Thank you very much, Mr. Kashif. Now I would like to move to the next guest, and she's Miss Nevedya Balagopal. Miss Nevedya, you have heard what our chief guest, Dr. Shastri, has mentioned, what earlier guests, youth guests have mentioned. Now we would like to know from you the role of youth in communal harmony. Please introduce yourself and speak 5 minutes only. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, please.
Yes. Good morning. I am Nivedya Balagopal, a student of University of West London, Ras Al Khaimah branch, and I study BA Accounting and Finance Level 4. So before I start my speech, I would like to thank Dr. Mohan Agarwal, the President of Indo-Gulf Marketing Association, for giving me this opportunity on addressing all of you about the role of youth in communal harmony. So what is communal harmony? Communal harmony means people with different background, religion, creed, caste, all living together in a society with love and peace amongst all. It strives to create goodwill and harmony among various communities. Now, if we look at the statistics of 2020, you will see that there are 31 major riots that happen throughout the world. And the most impactful riot was the Black Lives Matter movement, where George Floyd, an American hip hop artist, was murdered by a police officer because of his race. And it's literally only the second week of 2021, and Trump supporters protested to overturn his defeat in 2020 by storming into the Capitol. At the same time, you can see so many people trying to fight against this injustice and stand alongside the victims. And majority of these people are the youth of our nation. The youth of today are the leaders of tomorrow, and any major change that happens in our country is majorly led by its youth. The young natives of our country play a very important role in promoting and developing communal harmony in our society. It is promoted in colleges, institutes, schools, etc., where people of different communities study together peacefully and with mutual understanding. Now, if we look at the demographics of India, it's majorly constituted with youth and it's rapidly increasing. And as a result of which, India has gotten a more modern outlook. It is more tech savvy and more broad-minded. So people are more open to different cultures and different beliefs and traditions of other communities. Now, how can we promote and encourage communal harmony amongst the youth today? The first point, education. Providing knowledge about the beliefs of different culture is very important. And also the understanding of importance of peace and harmony in the society is very essential. Second, platforms. The youth have to be given proper platforms to communicate with each other. They have to spread messages of peace between all. For example, during the Black Lives Movement in social media such as Twitter and Instagram, hashtag Black Lives Matter was a huge movement. Many people throughout the world supported. So platforms are very important to keep one's view. And the third and the most important point, freedom. Freedom of expressing their thoughts in a healthy way for the betterment of the society. So let me conclude my speech with a quote by Pauline Hanson. To survive in peace and harmony, united and strong, we must have one people, one nation, and one flag. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Nivedya, for giving your views. You mentioned about the social media. Yes, if we are using social media positively, this can do wonders, but we should try to avoid using negatively. And the recent, because you are giving all the incidents very closely, and you have, that recently we have seen how the Twitter has banned the account of the most powerful person of the world, that is the president of USA, Mr. Trump, because he misused. And that's why if youth will understand one thing, which as you have mentioned, you are understanding that if you will use the social media in a positive way, then no problem of anything, even the communal harmony will definitely be there, but it has to be used positively. Thank you very much, Ms. Nivedya, for giving your views. Now I would like to invite my next youth guest, and she is Ms. Purvi S. Ms. Purvi S, you have heard our chief guest, Dr. Sandeep Shastri, as well as the earlier youth guest. Now we would like to know from you the role of youth in communal harmony. Miss Purvi S, please.
I am Purvi S and I'm doing my first PUC here in Bangalore. I am studying humanities and I'm studying at GNC. So that is it for the introduction and I'll move on with the topic. So now, as cliche it might be, I'll start with a quote, but not just any quote. A quote by Swami Vivekananda, who once proclaimed that different religions are like streams that lead to the same ocean. Now, this particular line gives me a lot of motivation when I think about communal harmony. Now, one might question, why is bitter as prevalent in an evolving society? Isn't it necessary to peacefully coexist in order to promote progress? These questions contain rather simple words, but aren't discussed enough because it's a general assumption that religion and sometimes even communal violence is a sensitive topic. Although this happens to be my surface level observation, I have always believed that we must acknowledge matters as it is, in order to obtain a solution. It has always been said that the youth are the assets of this nation. I couldn't agree more because the youth is capable of change, capable of standing up for what they believe in, and more importantly, they are the rising generation who, in a few years, will be significant. Will be a significant part of human transformation. But transformation begins from here. It begins when we start voicing out our opinions and do little things that contribute to a whole. Now, speaking on communal harmony, the youth play a major role in promoting this virtue and can do wonders in this course of action. It all begins at home. One of the simplest ways of promoting communal harmony is just by spreading awareness to others and discouraging people or words that speak ill of other religions or other communities. It isn't possible to stay oblivious to the cultural diversity of this land, and it is a very simple act to respect each and every community and doesn't take much effort because at the end of the day we are all just beings and we are trying to survive. So being more humane with values makes our survival a lot more easier, not only for ourselves, but also others. Now, on a social sphere, we have seen the emergence of technology and more prominently for social media. Now, man is a social animal and his actions have impact on his fellow beings. Now, it is up to us to ensure that the impact we have on others is positive, and it could be just through a few good words. It is very much needed that we start having conversations about societal issues with others rather than hesitating and keeping these ideas to ourselves and confining it rather than telling it to others. Also talking about social media, as mentioned earlier, the Black Lives Movement matter had a good deal of activism which stirred up a lot of emotions and awareness all around the globe. This was mainly done through social media by posting and even by protests that played a very vital role throughout. So similarly, we could start small for communal harmony and it could grow into a bigger movement, and it could gradually promise peace and prosperity to our nation, because that's what I believe. And we are all aware of communal violence, and we have heard events related to it at some point of our life. Now, when you're speaking on something, it is required that you do a little bit of research to have the best outcome. When I was doing my part of preparation for this event, I came across something known as Mohalla committees. Now, this initiative was formed because of the Mumbai riots of 1992-93, which caused a lot of havoc and dread throughout the city. So these committees were formed to monitor that these communal riots do not happen. And I found this very inspirational because we can take up similar initiatives, because although we are not licensed to form an official committee, it is possible for all of us to be part of groups that promote communal harmony, and it is in the interest of communal transformation. And we could also do the same in our schools, colleges, universities, as well as work environments. Our education has more to offer than just marks and certificates, and it is my principle that the education I get is very practical and fruitful, and something that is beyond the threshold of my classroom. Now, moving on, there are other simple acts to promote communal harmony. One thing that is very observable in India is the objection that young couples face, regarding interreligious and intercaste marriages. One way to advocate peace is to remove all prejudices that one might have, against these marriages, because law does not discriminate against caste or religion. Neither does friendship. So in this way, it's a very good example of assimilation, and helps in uniting and linking communities together with peace. The National Council of Communal Harmony once quoted that accept what you can accept and respect what you can't accept. Now, we know that communalism is an obstacle to national integration. Therefore, we should be cultivated at the root. And by this, I refer to our education curriculum, so that communal harmony is implemented more prominently, especially in value education, so that the young minds are kindled with spirit and they are given their own, thought processes.
Be brief,
so apart
please.
from,
Be brief.
I am. Yes, sir. So what I mean is that by implementing this in our curriculum, the young minds are given more of their own thought processes, so that they can speak up for themselves and they can differentiate between what's right and wrong. So apart from all this, all I have to say is that not only do we create programs to invoke communal harmony, but we also invoke it in ourselves. The Indian pledge that I remember mainly from my school days says that all Indians are my brothers and sisters. It is this that we need to recall and remove anything that obstructs the way of harmony, love, and acceptance in our very own nation. I'll thus come to a statement that resonates in each one of us. There is unity in diversity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Purvi. And two things I will tell you. First thing is you and the earlier panelists mentioned about the Black movement in USA. Yes, initially it was a good thing which has started. But as Dr. Shastri has mentioned earlier, our chief guest, that when the wrong elements comes in picture, then there's no movement. And that has happened in USA, that initially it was a movement which was for the beneficial for the society, but afterwards it has become very rowdy. People has started looting the malls and everything. You might have seen in the media also that how they have put the wooden planks in front of the shops to just safeguard their valuable things. That is not acceptable. And that was not because of the youth. It was because of those who wants to create the problems. That is one point. Second, you have mentioned about the interfaith marriage. Although it's a very long discussion, which I'm going to keep some time else, but I will just tell you one thing. If anybody is forcing for a conversion, that is illegal, which is nowadays the law is passed. But if it is not under the pressure, no forceful conversion, then is nothing. But anyway, thank you very much for giving your views. I would like to move to the next, our guest, youth guest, and she is Miss Tamanna Arif. Miss Tamanna Arif Hussain, you have heard our chief guest, Dr. Sandeep Shastri. You have already heard about all the earlier panelists. Now, we would like to know from you the role of youth in communal harmony.
My name is Tamanna Arif Hussain, and I study in University of West London, recently in BAPS level 4. So our topic is today is the role of youth in communal harmony. So communal harmony is the thing which we don't think like common, we just ignore it. Like if I see most of the time we accept the fact that we all are in a religion and we have to follow religion. And if our parents sometimes it happens that our parents come to know that our friend is in another religion. Some parents, not all, they kind of get little affected, and they're like, you have to keep your friendship with only a Muslim girl or a Muslim boy, otherwise you will be you will need change your in behavior. Some time it happens. It's easy to make your other people, I mean the other or the younger ones to understand this thing, but it's sometimes a bit difficult to make the older generations understand this fact. This is mainly because it's not their fault. They have been taught in this manner, and this is going on from years and years. If I take an example, then we know Hitler. Yeah, so Hitler have made a history only because he wanted to remove Jewish, and he did this such a the world cannot forget that how he have done so great this much. The children were assaulted. The children were affected. So just imagine the situation. Only because they are Jew, they got this much bad. And everybody knows that because of Diary of Young Girl. And she is an amazing girl who did fought for the, and she was also young. Just imagine, she was young and she came into light the fact of how the community is getting affected because of, our world is getting affected because of religion. So this is an example I just took. When the young girl, I mean the people, in a girl in the 90s can change, can make a big effect in this world, then why not us? We also can contribute in this. We have more opportunity. She was sitting just in a dark room with a small diary and she could write this many things. We have, as Nivedita mentions, we have social media platforms, we have YouTube, we have such a big platform. Even we can, like in our country, Bangladesh, and India, Pakistan, I have seen, we do rally. And sometimes this is because of religion. And mostly people wants to bring harmony. We want to see the people together, and that is our main goal of having all of us together. Basically, we are taught in the school. We are taught in the school and till college, we are in this fact. But yeah, as Mr. Lalgol said that when we grow older, we become like our own ancestor and own parents. We are like, no, kid, you should not go with this student. We say, we don't, now we will not realize. When after marriage, after this happens, we will realize. I'm saying this from my own experience because my mom and dad taught many things when I was a child. And now I forgot. I was not believing them, but now slowly I started saying that no, my grandfather was right. It is true, and this happens mostly, maybe to some people. So what we can do to make harmony in this world. So I would like to suggest that mainly education, but education that also in a practical manner. Take the people to the, bring them to the situation, make them aware of the situation. Don't just open the TV and believe what the news is saying. And we can't judge anyone. We can't judge any political party or anyone, no one. It's like everybody is having a problem in their life. So we have to find a solution for it. As young people, we don't have so much problem. Like we don't have so much responsibilities on us. Like the people who are already, after 30s and 40s, they have job, but we young people, we are just doing our studies and we are getting to know things. And that is a big advantage for us, that now we can have the initiative and give the creative ideas. When we bring on ideas to the mind of people, and not ideas, just not ideas, making them understand that sometimes making a change in your mind, that the thinking of a new world can change something. Thank you. And I would like to conclude my speech with a great person's quote, that is Gandhiji's. And he said that an eye for an eye at the end binds the whole world. And that's a true fact, because we all know when we start fighting for one thing, which is actually for the whole nation, we become more agitated to fight. And that ends the whole world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Tamanna. Now I would like to go to Ms. Usha Yadav. Ms. Usha Yadav, you have already heard what our chief guest, Dr. Sandeep Shastri, as well as all our youth guests has spoken. So now we would like to know your views on youth, role of youth in communal harmony. Ms. Usha Yadav, please unmute yourself.
I am Usha Yadav, BN student of Saraswati College of Professional Studies from Ghaziabad, UP. Today we are talking about role of youth in communal harmony. In a society like India, where a large number of people belonging to different communities live together, it is very important to maintain communal harmony, like love, affection, fraternity among people, irrespective of their religions, bring communal harmony. Constitution of India endorses communal harmony as the basic right and the fundamental duty of every citizen. It is the great nature of India, where diverse religions and people with different religions believe coexist. Communal harmony is the requirement for internal peace and security, growth and development. India is a vast country where people, in spite of practicing different religion, live with fraternity and togetherness. The rich tradition of tolerance, the feeling of togetherness and assimilation has kept the identity of our intact. Communal harmony depends on the theme of unity in diversity. India is the only country in this world where all the prime religions and followers live together peacefully. We celebrate all the festivals of different religions like Holi, Diwali, Eid, Guru Nanak Jayanti, Christmas with full zeal and jest. Communal harmony is essential for internal peace and security of India, and everyone must try to keep this alive and intact. As Mahatma Gandhi also said, let us forget to all thoughts of I am a Hindu, you are Muslim, or I am a Gujarati, you are Madrasi. Let us think I and mine in a common Indian nationality. We shall be free only when a large number of our people are determined to swim or sink together. He believed in tolerance and acceptance of all religions within the Indian national framework. Thank you so much, sir.
Very much, Ms. Shada Yadav, for giving your views. Guest, Dr. Sandeep Shastri, for giving his concluding remarks. The time is about 7-8 minutes, Dr. Shastri, please.
I think the 6 speakers who we had the privilege to listen to have made certain very, very important and very, very positive and very thought-provoking points. I think what struck me in what Ananya said, and I think that's a very important lesson which Ananya conveyed to us, that what we tell our mind decides how we behave. And I thought that was a great way of putting it, Ananya. Like your name, which is endless, I think your idea also is an endless idea, that it is our mind which defines and decides how we behave. And what each of us tell our mind is at the end of the day the deciding factor. So thank you, Ananya, for that very, very important thought, which I think I'm just taking one point from what each of the 6 of you said. And if we add together those 6 points, I think we will have a ready-made recipe for the communal harmony as suggested by young people. So I think from Ananya, I'm taking the idea of what we tell our mind is what we ultimately become, which I think is a wonderful idea. Kashif made that threefold argument of kindness, dignity, and respect. You're so right, Kashif. And each of the 3 cannot be taken independently. When I respect an alternative view, I develop dignity towards an alternative view. When I respect another person, I'm demonstrating dignity to that person and demonstrating dignity towards myself, making others feel dignified about me. And that is, at the end of the day, what kindness is all about. So I think this threefold, for me, what Kashif has suggested is this threefold path of respect, dignity, and kindness being something which I think right from our childhood needs to be the way we groom a new generation. They often say Japan after World War II, simply because of the way they educated their children, the type of values that they taught their children. So I think these 3 values for me are extremely important. Naivedya made a very interesting argument. And by the way, Naivedya, I truly like your name, because that's like blessings from the heaven is what I believe your name implies. And you rightly talked about platform. You see, the need for a platform for many of us want to say a lot, want to feel a lot, want to listen to a lot, but we don't have a platform. And you very rightly said, freedom is not freedom from, but freedom for. You see, many people want freedom from. I don't want my parents to control me. I don't want anybody to decide what I will wear. Now that is freedom from. But you rightly emphasized freedom for. You see, what am I going to use that freedom for? You see, more important than freedom from is freedom for. And when I have a platform to articulate my views, it allows me to focus on freedom for rather than freedom from. Um Purvi is, I think among the entire group here, Purvi is the youngest in terms of being still a pre-university student. And I think, as your name suggests, Purvi, good ideas always rise in the east and set in the west. And your name is symbolic of the east. And I truly appreciate the point you made about Mohalla clinics. Because if Mumbai has not had a communal riot after 1992, if after 1992, after the Babri Masjid 93, after the Babri Masjid incident, if Mumbai has been free of communal riots, a lot of people believe that that's because of the Mohalla clinics that came into place, which is, as you said, action from below rather than action from above. It was a bottom-up approach rather than a top-down approach. And all power to you for that wonderful suggestion that you made about establishing Mohalla clinics. And as you said, I think the process of education is where the change actually comes about. And I cannot agree with you more on that. Tamanna made a excellent point about younger generation not being impacted by the previous generation's way of thinking, but holding on to their way of thinking. Again, as your name signifies aspiration and inspiration, I think that's critical to how young people look at the way they would like to have a world which has unity in it. And finally, coming to Usha. And many of you mentioned this. Usha talked about unity in diversity as being what youth can contribute to for communal harmony. I also remember earlier that Ananya spoke about unity in diversity. Kashif also spoke about that. Can I make a small suggestion after listening to all of you? Should our slogan change from unity in diversity to unity through diversity? We keep on saying unity in diversity, which means the focus is unity, that all diversity somewhere should become unity. On the other hand, can we say unity through diversity, which is by celebrating diversity, we are promoting unity. You are not extinguishing diversity to promote unity. You are celebrating diversity, as I said, not tolerating diversity. You are celebrating diversity. And when you genuinely celebrate diversity, you will bring in unity. So thank you, all 6 of you, for these excellent points you made. And I think I enjoyed the last 90 minutes in terms of the inputs from you all. And I'd like to thank each one of you for having enriched my own understanding of the topic. And it's been wonderful spending time with each of you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shastri, for giving your concluding remarks. By analyzing each and everybody's, that is a very, very really remarkable thing. And so today you have seen how the youth is important to play in the role of youth is important to play for the communal harmony, and how they can do it. And these youths who are there today, who are participating in person, has given their very, very positive views. If these are the views of our youth, then definitely there will be no problem in anywhere in the world, because they are very, very positive. As Dr. Shastri said, not from the corona side, but otherwise. And that is a very, very important message which has emerged out today's conference. So thank you very much. And thank you very much our chief guest, because he is the person who has not only analyzed, but who has given a new direction and new words and new slogans and new way or new ideas about the unity and diversities, tolerance, etc. I am sure that there is a we have now very much to think how we can change, whether we are youth or even we are adult or a senior citizen. So thank you very much. And today's program, which has been live telecasted by V4 News, Global TV, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV, News Gaon Se, Samvad Sarokar News, as well as it was shown live on YouTube and Facebook. And our endeavor is to bring to you every day new topic. And tomorrow's topic is very, very important. That tomorrow's media conference with Lal Goyal at 10:30 is the Pravasi constituencies. Yes, you have heard correctly, Pravasi constituencies. Recently, the one-man expert commission under the leadership of Dr. C.V. Anand Bose, IAS, has submitted a recommendation to the government of India to create constituencies from Pravas for Pravasis. Those who are staying abroad, they can elect their own MPs for Indian Parliament. And this is a recommendation. So to discuss that, tomorrow our program is dedicated for that. And the participants are Dr. C.V. Anand Bose, IAS, One-Man Expert Commission on Labour, Government of India. Dr. M. Abdul Salam, former Vice Chancellor, University of Calicut, Kozhikode. Mr. Mathukuti Kadone, Chairman and Managing Director, NTV Hindi, NTV Malayalam, UAE. Mr. Jacob M. Chanapeta, MD and CEO, Jacob International Educational Consultancy, LLC, Kuwait. So please tune in tomorrow for media conference with Lal Goyal at 10:30 a.m. Thank you very much, Dr. Sandeep Shastri, our chief guest, and thank you all our youth guests who have joined and enriched all of us. Thank you very much, and thank you all the viewers for joining us. Thank you very much.